How
Hello.
are you, Christina?
I'm
I
very
missed you.
good.
How have you been? Oh,
Very well.
Christina. Oh, come on, man. Where you been? How's Mexico?
Very well. Very well. Thank you. We're getting better and we are very excited for Fast 9, Vin.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. We're so excited for you to see it.
And well, throughout the years, you have been proving that besides being fast in terms of speed, you also go fast in terms of technology, originality, and drama arc. So, how do you manage to go as fast as the world goes with this franchise?
Not without great thought. You know what, Christina? We spend more time on the movie making process than years before we ever roll one, before we say action, before we work. Just this weekend, I worked all weekend, and we've been working all year on the finale of Fast 10. I have to say, Christina, it's because of you. It's because of the faith that you put in us, the confidence that you give us, the way that you inspire us to continue to reach higher, to make something that will truly make you proud. To think that we are on chapter 9, and all we want to do is to make you proud of what we're making for you. That's a special life, and that's a godsend, and that's a blessing, and I'm so grateful that that's my job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And also with this movie, you all prove that we don't need superheroes. We just need the Torettos and their friends. Because, as you well mentioned in the film, this group of friends is invincible. But how hard was to become invincible with this franchise in a world that thinks that has already seen everything in the big screen?
That's a great question. And we didn't have comic books, and we didn't have novels. This was something that was grown from the concrete up. And I can't stress how much this mythology has been manifested by you. And I don't mean just the whole world. I mean the Latin community.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mexico has a profound. I think that Mexico is one of the creators of the Fast saga. There's magic that's come from all over. And Mexico has been such a contributor of magic to this mythology. When I think about Mexico, I think about these pivotal moments throughout the franchise. I remember being at the premiere, I think it was at MTV Spring Break, and Paul Walker and I went to show the movie in Mexico. And I remember Michelle Rodriguez one night singing Guantanamera at a karaoke bar. And then the next day we were going, and Paul Walker and I were sitting on the floor of an airport in Mexico, and people were walking by us. And I remember him saying to me, and no one had seen the movie yet. And I remember him saying to me, Vin, take all this in. I said, what? The fact that nobody is looking at us, nobody recognizes us. And I said, why? He says, because once this movie comes out, you'll never feel that again.
Wow.
I was like, ah. Then I remember going to Mexico when I finally returned to Fast, and they asked me to produce it. And I remember essentially the return of Dom Toretto was while he was in Mexico. And he gets that phone call. And my daughter had just been born 3 weeks earlier. And I remember coming to Mexico with the Mayan Queen and the Alpha Angel. And I remember it was such a magical time because the brotherhood between Dom and Brian had already started. But that Mexico trip was the true beginning of an eternal brotherhood between Vin and Pablo. So Mexico's very special, needless to say.
Well, first, 20 years have passed since the release of the first movie. And in the past 2 decades, the way female characters are portrayed in the big screen have changed a lot because, for example, actresses are not longer seen just as objects of desire. So can you say Mia changed as the world did?
Yes, I think in a wonderful way. I do think that we did a very good job with the first Fast and Furious of portraying the girls as, of course, we always had the scenes where the girls were dancing around the cars. And like, that was, one of the iconic moments in all the Fast and Furious movies. Luckily, we don't have one that's as shameless in 9. But for Mia and Letty, we were always strong. We were always the ones that were sort of pulling the puppet strings for behind our men. But I do think it's wonderful that the franchise has evolved with the times and that now we're at the forefront as much as the men. And we have Dame Helen Mirren, we have Charlize Theron. Someone just brought up that we have 2 Oscar winners now in the lead female roles. So I think it's wonderful that the film has evolved. And for me personally, in my career, I think so much used to be not in the franchise, but used to be based on looks and weight and how do you fit a certain mold. And if you don't fit that mold, then you're not going to get the role. And it's so different now. It's like, it's more about intelligence and character and realness. And that's so refreshing. I wish it had happened sooner, but I still have time to have fun.
The last thing left was to go to space. But I really enjoyed that this sequence was not pretentious at all. So how do you manage to film this action sequence without losing the effect of emotion and action that characterizes the franchise, but at the same time, you make fun of all these absurd situations?
well, first of all, I really appreciated, what you said. I think that, it was not by design that's where we wanted to go when I started, but it was the exploration through Roman and Tej, and they were going through this existential crisis. And as they were doing that, I felt like, it was appropriate. It was something that we had talked about. And you're right. I think to try to treat it, we wanted to do it in a way that is respectful. And I got on the phone with a NASA scientist right away and had some science classes to learn about how to really kind of get up there, hopefully the proper way. So it's actually one of the most sound action sequences we have in our franchise.
And finally, I love that every Fast movies have a soundtrack that includes a very cool Latino artist. As a Mexican, when I watch these movies, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's part of our culture too. So do you agree with the fact that the music is one of the main characters in the Fast franchise?
100%, because the music has to match the emotion in the scene, and then it really is just completely ingrained in your memories and your brain when you can make that perfect song that goes with that perfect scene or a perfect movie.
Well, thank you so much, Luda. Nice to meet you, and thank you for your time. Thank you so much for your time, Justin.
Thank you, Jordana.
Thank you very much.
Was nice to meet you. Thank you, Vin. Nice talking to you.
Christina, I hope to see you here for Fast 10. Thank you, and thank you, Mexico. Todo, 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 todo.
Todo nuestro amor para ti, Vin.